Welcome to Android Weekly on Butterscotch.com, the show that bushwhacks through the jungle of Android news to get straight to what matters to you, or at least to me. I'm Andrew Moore-Crispin. On this week's show, we're bringing you our top 5 Android smartphones by popular request. We've got the best dual-core phone, the best 3D phone, the best gaming, QWERTY, and all-purpose Android phones. Let me just put this out there. Our list is based on our opinion. A considered opinion thanks to the fact that we've been lucky enough to play with each of the phones on this list at one time or another. Feel free to offer your own opinions in the comments below, or just level personal insults, call me a fanboy, or mention how ugly and stupid I am, and call into question the merits of my opinion. Either way. Before we get into our list though, we thank VeriSign, one of the sponsors that makes Android Weekly and other great Butterscotch.com shows possible. VeriSign is something of an internet backbone. They look after the 2 biggest domain suffixes going. To learn more about VeriSign and what it takes to run and safeguard .com and .net, visit verisigninc.com. Tell them Andrew sent you. If they just stare at you blankly, turn tail and run. On to our top 5 Android smartphone picks. If you're thinking of jumping into the Android camp, or if you're looking for an upgrade, you're spoiled for choice. There are dozens of Android phones available. Cheap Android phones, powerful Android phones, tiny phones, QWERTY phones, it can all be a little much. The best Android phone is the one that works best for you, and with that in mind, number 5, the best cutting-edge phone, the HTC Evo 3D. Cutting edge in this case means a somewhat out there concept. We were torn between the Kyocera Echo and the HTC Evo 3D, eventually choosing the latter as the former is somewhat lacking in power and the battery life is subpar. The HTC Evo 3D seems at first like a novelty. 3D on my mobile, I barely even want that in the theater or in my living room. But when it's well implemented, glass is free and you've got access to 3D games, it's exactly like the Nintendo 3DS, but without the childish implications and, well, games that aren't as good. If it's the best gaming experience you're after, stick around for number 3 on this list. The HTC Evo 3D has HTC Sense 3.0, the latest version of HTC's own Android skin. We've said before that we're not typically fans of manufacturers screwing around with Android, but HTC does it well. Sense 3.0 has some pretty compelling 3D updates, including some 3D widgets, 3D lock screens, and a 3D hub for getting at your 3D content on your phone and on the web. On the HTC Evo 3D, we get 2 5-megapixel cameras for shooting 3D stills and 720p 3D videos, and HDMI out for connecting to the bigger 3D screen. Number 4, the best super powerful Android phone, the LG Optimus 3D. When you turn 3D off on the LG Optimus 3D, you've still got a super powerful dual-core, dual-channel memory smartphone. Don't ask us why you pay a premium for 3D and then turn it off. You're the one that just did it. LG seems to have made a pact not to mess around with Android too much. It's as close to stock Android as you can get without actually being stock Android, and that's a good thing. The only major changes that LG makes are carrier-specific band tweaks that actually benefit the end user. Plus, in this case specifically, some pretty nifty 3D tweaks. In benchmark tests, LG's Optimus 3D outperformed its closest competition, the Samsung Galaxy S2. In addition to sporting a dual-core 1 GHz processor, the LG Optimus 3D has a gig of dual-channel RAM split into 2 modules to eliminate bottlenecks. That is to say, it's fast. Number 3, best Android gaming phone, the Sony Ericsson Xperia Play. We reviewed the Sony Ericsson Xperia Play in episode 17 of Android Weekly, so check that out for a full-on look at the so-called PlayStation phone. The short version, the gaming controls are awesome, the hardware isn't outdated but it's not cutting edge, and the PlayStation Pocket experience needs some work. That said, if you've got a few favorite games in the Android market, or if you managed to snag the older console emulators before they were culled from the Android market, this is your best bet. The Xperia Play really shines in games that would otherwise have your Digitus Primus blocking your smartphone screen. Number 2, the best QWERTY Android phone, the HTC Desire Z. Those holding out from the BlackBerry camp usually offer one of a few different reasons, company fealty aside. 1, my work only lets me use BlackBerry. 2, I'm waiting on the BlackBerry Storm 8 or the Torch 11000, or 3, I need the keyboard. Our answers: 1, perhaps a job in a more open and free-thinking office is in order. 2, good luck with that. And 3, if you like the concept of Android but can't imagine typing on a decidedly untactile screen, there are options. The best one we found is the HTC Desire Z. It's decently spec'd and has a beautiful keyboard that is easy to type on. Plus, as a BlackBerry holdout, you'll be blown away by the Android market. It actually has apps in it. Seriously. If you're looking for an Android phone with a good QWERTY keyboard, the HTC Desire Z is the best one we've found. Number 1, best all-purpose Android phone, the Nexus S. This is the phone I use every day. I've tried at least 20 Android phones I can remember, but this is the one for me. It's completely stock Android. In fact, it's the current generation Google reference phone, which is to say it's the only one that Google actually has its tacit seal of approval on. We're waiting for news on the next Nexus, whatever that may be called, and whoever may end up manufacturing it. Until then, it's the Nexus S as the best choice for an Android phone. It's the first to get new features and updates, it's the cleanest Android experience going, and it's powerful enough to plow through just about anything you can throw at it. That's it for our top 5 Android smartphones. If you agree or disagree, feel free to share your opinions in the comments below, or just hurl insults at me. While I may look like I've developed a thick skin, I can assure you that your jibes still hurt, so have at it. For more great shows or to subscribe to Android Weekly, head over to butterscotch.com. Until next week, I'm Andrew Moore Crispin.